This is a headline that recently caught my eye. It's one that's been making national headlines, and it's that these Sheetz gas stations in Pennsylvania are going to be selling gasoline for $3.99 a gallon over the July 4th weekend to help out all the travelers who are traveling for the holidays. Now, first of all, I just thought that this is funny that this is making national headlines, because the fact that a gas station is selling gas as cheap as $3.99 is enough to capture the national attention. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we're at with inflation and the economy in general. But also, it was interesting because they're selling a different type of gas. What they're actually offering for $3.99 is this unleaded 88, and that is an 88 octane fuel blend that has more ethanol in it than your typical gasoline. And so this is a chart from Wikipedia of common ethanol fuel mixtures, and E10, which is 10% ethanol and 90% gasoline. That's the typical fuel blend here in the US. And this E15, this is 15% ethanol and 85% gas. That's actually the 88 octane fuel that Sheetz gas stations is selling for $3.99. And this blend of fuel, it's approved for all cars manufactured after 2000. Although, I'm not a chemist or a fuel expert, so I don't really know how it affects wear and tear on the parts or what kind of mileage you're going to get out of it. But I think it's interesting that we're beginning to see these attempts to bring down the price of fuel. Now, the $3.99 thing, I think that's just a promo that Sheetz is throwing. I don't think that's going to last any longer than the weekend. They're probably just trying to use that fuel as a bit of a loss leader and get people into their businesses to buy the higher margin items, the snacks, energy drinks, that sort of thing. And probably we'll see them selling this unleaded 88 for a little bit higher after the holiday weekend is over. But nonetheless, adding ethanol to the fuel might decrease some of the cost, because ethanol is highly subsidized for starters. So all those prices are sort of artificial anyway. But ethanol fuel is going to be a little cheaper than regular gasoline, but this is not something that in the long term is going to help us fight the forces of inflation, unfortunately, because the more ethanol that goes into the gas that we use, that means the more corn and agricultural products are going to be used to create that gas, and so the price of food may just rise commensurately with a small decrease in the price of fuel. So overall, the introduction of products like this 88 octane E15 gasoline, even though it might bring the cost of fuel down slightly, I think that there will be a commensurate rise in food. So overall, it's going to be a net neutral effect on inflation. It's almost like it's another side effect of the inflation. It's kind of like shrinkflation. Shrinkflation is when you go to the store and you buy a product and you're paying the same price you were paying for it last week, but suddenly the product's a little bit smaller. This is sort of a similar substitution effect of inflation where regular gasoline is becoming more expensive. So here's this cheaper gasoline. It's different, maybe don't get quite the same mileage, might not be quite the same quality, but here's a cheaper product in its stead. So the introduction of this type of fuel is a sign that inflation is getting worse. And I don't think this is going to be the cure for inflation. And I expect that all types of fuel, whether it be E15, 88 octane gas, ethanol, or regular old petroleum-based gasoline, those will be moving much higher. But also, if this type of fuel becomes more popular, the price of food might be moving that much higher as well. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker out.